Hello, I'm Adam from WellPlayed, and today I'm joined by Julian Wilton, the creative director for Australia's own Massive Monster and the keynote speaker for PAX Aus 2024. Julian, thank you so much for taking a moment out of your day to have a chat with me today, mate. Really appreciate it.
Hello. Yes, no, of course. Happy to be here.
As we've discussed, if I'm shivering at all, it's because the weather is terrible down here in Hobart. Is the weather better where you are? I'm hoping it's a touch warmer.
No, it's bloody freezing. I'm actually after the snow this weekend as well, so I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but
Oh, it's
at
self-inflicted.
least
Here
if
I am
it's
having no
yeah,
choice, and you're seeking it out. Jeez.
never not. Yeah, why not?
So, to kick us off, I've read that you started in the industry as a teenager, making the rest of us look bad while we were fresh out of college, doing probably a great deal of nothing. Can you give us a little rundown of your experience of breaking into the video game development world?
Yeah, I guess I was probably just a bit of a nerd as a kid, so just spent too much time on the computer. But I was kind of playing a lot of games, and I think I never find what game it was, but I played some game and you could kind of see all the source files with all the little assets and stuff. So you could kind of start changing them and it would change the look in game. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. So me and my friend were like, all right, let's make a game. And then he very quickly abandoned it. But then, I've been doing it for 15 years now. So, but yeah, it kind of started off doing like some Flash games. I was doing art for Flash games and then moved to I originally wanted to do programming, but I kind of sucked at it. So I started doing art. And then now I kind of do a bit of everything, do a bit of programming, arts, and master of nothing, but do it all. But yeah, I kind of did Flash games for, I don't know, 5 years or something. I don't know, maybe like 20 games. But then yeah, moved to desktop console games as old Flash industry was dying, and made the Adventure Pals, which is kind of first commercial game. I did a little mobile game called Unicycle Draft I was doing my final uni assignment, and to just learn how to do Unity and to program. And then I worked on Boomerang Fu as well. It was a very fun party game. And then Cult of Lammy.
Love it. So, to go from Flash games and then moving on to obviously more console oriented things, where did Massive Monster come in? Like, what was the kind of the origin point there?
Yeah, so I was making Flash games. Usually with a Flash game, people would like look for an art. You might be a programmer and you'd find an artist or something, or you'd be an artist looking for a programmer. So I think I was on one of the forums and I saw Jay Armstrong, who's one of the other directors. He had posted, I think he posted he was looking for an artist, and he'd done this game that his art was actually already better than mine, but I feel like I could kind of make similar quality. So yeah, we just kind of teamed up and worked on a game called Super Adventure Pals, which was like a Flash platformer game about having a giraffe and pet rock. So yeah, we made that. I was still kind of doing other stuff. I was still at how old? I think I probably just turned 18 when I was working on that. So I was still like doing other stuff. I just moving to uni, going to uni and stuff. So kind of doing it on the side. So Jay afterwards made a few other games. He'd worked with this other guy called James or Jimp quite a few times on some games. So I think they had the idea when the industry is like crashing to like get together and kind of form a company to make desktop console games, but also kind of Flash ones if they could still get money for it.
Sure.
So they got together with them. I think they teamed up with a few other people as well, but it kind of didn't really work out with them. So because Jay was working on the Adventure Pals and they were kind of working on other stuff. So it was a little bit weird, but yeah, I don't know. We got there in the end.
Hey, all's well that ends well, hey?
Yeah.
So obviously you found a publishing partner in Devolver for Cult of the Lamb. How was pitching that to developers, being like, so you're going to be a really cute little sheep, but you're also going to be the leader of a cult? How was the pitching process for that?
Yeah, I mean, it took a long time to even get to that. So that's actually a good pitch, I feel. But the original pitch was like so many other different things. So it was like, you're God on the back of a flying whale, you have to eat your followers and all this other stuff. So it was always that kind of angle, but just trying to figure out how to word it. And then I think we wanted to just make it, all right, it's a game about starting a cult, but then it's like, how do you even describe that in in terms of gameplay? So yeah, I think using the sheep and kind of like, you're a sheep, you're kind of an evil, you're kind of a cute cult leader, I think, is kind of where we ended up. And I think yeah, I spent a lot of, because like I don't know, I did design degree. A lot of the work that I put in is like, how can we communicate it and make it like easy to understand? So I think we kind of got there in the end. And Devolver, yeah, I think the ideation of it was quite strategic, because we're like, Devolver is probably the best publisher for indie games, and what kind of games do they like? And you know, they like, you know, kind of a bit punk, a bit weird, a bit edgy. So we're like, all right, we'll do that.
Love it. It's such a great amalgamation of things. A cult leader and a cute little lamb is, yeah, it's pretty wonderful.
Yeah, let it.
Obviously, you've had an unreal success with Cult of the Lamb. With that success, what sort of what learnings have come to the team? How have you kind of taken that success and learnt from it? Have there been any changes in the team, or yeah, how do you build on that success going forward?
Yeah, I think I mean, it's weird, when we made the game, like we never even had any employees or anything. It was just kind of Jay, Jim, and myself for a long time. We had yeah, Narayan, our composer, but he's kind of a contractor, and then a few other, we had maybe a couple other people closer to the launch. But yeah, we basically always were kind of crunching on the game and just kind of like just hustling, trying to like, you know, to make it, as lots of game developers do. Because it is, when, you know, there was a lot riding on it, basically. So yeah, we basically learned not to do that anymore, because I think we all just burnt ourselves out working so much on it, and just kind of yeah, just doing these crazy hours to meet these, you know, milestones that, you know, were, you know, we could, you know, we didn't have to miss them, but kind of just, we really, you know, this game had to be successful, or, you know, we probably wouldn't be making games anymore.
Yeah.
But now that we're in a position where, yeah, I think we have like 17 people, we try to make sure everyone gets paid good, and we make sure that no one's crunching, no one's doing overtime. And we are in a fortunate position because the game has done very well, so we can, you know, can do that. But yeah, basically we just, you know, look after ourselves and look after other people, I think, is what we've learned.
I love to hear that. And have you had to build any more shelves for all of the awards that the game's been getting? Are you just kind of, are they just kind of like packed into boxes and wherever you can fit them in?
Yeah, they're kind of random in the, they've just got them around the place. Like, yeah, I think I got a few in some boxes. I need to yeah, I need a shelf or something. Yeah.
I'd imagine they're just paperweights and doorstops at this point, mate. You're littered with them.
Well, there's usually a few battles for who gets them, because, you know, we're kind of, you know, around the world as well. Like, so yeah, Jim's in the UK and Jay's in Singapore. So yeah, we're usually fighting for them. But I'm trying to get them all together so we can, you know, put them in nice little trophy case or something.
It looks better for the Instagram photos and whatnot if they're all in one place.
Exactly.
I get how it is.
Exactly.
Now, a personal question directly for you. In preparation for developing Cult of the Lamb, and you can be honest with me, did you join or create any cults of your own? And follow-up question, is it true that it's more fun as a follower but more profitable as a leader?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I did a lot of research into cults, because it's like, all right, what actually is a cult?
Sure,
and then, because we're selling the idea of the player fantasy of starting cults, so you kind of have to know what that means. So I didn't start any cults, but, you know, I've had a few. I mean, in theory, you could say I did start one, you know, through this game, but yeah, I did also buy an old church. So yeah, it's, things are in motion.
Excellent.
But
that's a good first step.
Yeah. I feel like a follower. Yeah, I feel like people don't. That's a lot of people don't mind, you know, being in a cult, because they just get told what to do, basically. And you know, when life gets really stressful, you know, sometimes it's nice to just be, you know, not to have to think about anything and just do as you're told.
Yeah, just be on autopilot. Yeah, I can see the appeal.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends what kind of person you are, I guess. And if you're a narcissist, then yeah, probably a cult leader might be right for you. But otherwise, you know, maybe a member. You know, there's nothing wrong with Cult member. Yeah,
Again, you just got to play to your strengths. That's what we keep coming back to.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
if Cult of the Lamb, pivoting just slightly, if Cult of the Lamb were to spin off into something like a film or like an animated series, if you had to be pressed, who would you like to voice the Lamb? And we do have a suggestion from our own Ash Whaling, who thinks that Alf Stewart from Home and
Oh,
Away
okay.
would make it for a really good one who waits.
Oh, Alf. Yeah, actually, I reckon Alf could do pretty good at that. What is it then? Let me just see. I think it's this person, but I just who the hell is that? No, that's not the person I was thinking of. We did get a recommend. Is it Michael Keaton? I think Michael Keaton
Oh,
was a
yeah.
good. Someone suggested that as a lamb character.
I like that a lot.
I think there's someone else recommended. Also, I haven't thought too much about it. I'd like to get a few of those celebs that engage a bit in the game stuff. So like Elijah
Yeah.
Wood, I feel like he's always doing stuff.
Oh, for sure.
A few of those other people. Yeah, so just because they're cool. But
I can see him in a Lamb
just
role.
someone
He kind of
weird.
gives that sort of vibe,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
Yeah, just someone that can kind of go a bit evil. I think the idea is they kind
Yeah.
of be a bit more cute, but then when they turn, they turn.
Yeah,
And
they've got to have
yeah.
something underlying in there for sure. Can't be one dimensional.
Yeah, there was a really good. I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember who it was, but we've been working on it, and we've had some suggestions. Is what I'd say.
Love it. Are there any cheeky plans to grow the IP in that way that you could hint at? Or is there any sort of, I suppose, as a studio, would there be an interest in branching out into film or like an animated adaptation?
Yeah, there's lots of things in the works. That's what like we're kind of, as I say, we're in this position of privilege now where we can kind of do whatever we want with the IP and the brand to kind of build it. So mainly that's just resulted in us making weird things. So there will be some stuff announced later in the year. But yeah, TV show, is still in the works. I think there's like I think a lot of the writing strikes and stuff like that made a lot of the processes a bit harder. But yeah, nothing officially announced yet. But hopefully one day.
Sure, yeah.
We've got some very very perspective thing that could be really interesting, but I'm trying to as vague as possible. But
yeah. Nah, I get you.
We'll see.
I get you. Speaking of things that are maybe a little bit, yeah, absolutely. We'll keep an eye on it. Things that are maybe a little bit more concrete. Indie games have a pretty radical culture of crossing over with each other, as was evidenced with the Cult of the Lamb crossing over with Don't Starve. Are there any recent indie titles that you'd like to see the Lamb pop up in, or maybe the other way around? You'd like to see them pop up in the world of Cult of the Lamb? Any that spring to mind?
Yeah, we've got one. We're working on it. It's done. So, well, it's mostly done. So, but I don't know if we can. I don't know. Anything's. We probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't tell you that one either.
Nah, look,
but
fair enough.
that should be. Yeah, but I think that definitely we're always open to it. Like we actually kind of working with we're kind of working on Among Us one for a while and kind of put some work into that. But it kind of gets a little tricky because you're like, it kind of needs to make sense in the world a little bit without like it should feel like it kind of makes sense. Where Among Us one, we still like to do it one day, but just trying to figure out how it works. Like if there's an alien spaceship that lands, it means it kind of just opens up the world a lot. And I think our writer would get quite annoyed. We usually just do what we want and then we tell our writer to figure out how it makes sense in the world. But now we're kind of at a point where if we do things that the community, that doesn't align with what the community thinks the game is, then we'll get in trouble from them as well. So we kind of need to be careful with it, I think.
Nah, look, fair enough. It's become a big enough beast where you need to be careful with what your crossover, I suppose. That's fair. That's fair. Speaking of,
I think.
Sorry.
Sorry. Oh no, I was trying to think of it like a funny one to put in, but no, I can't think of anything.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Well, I mean, speaking of things that kind of got out of hand, the social media push to add sex to the game was absolutely wild, and it blew the expectations, like kind of blew the doors off the entire thing. Is that kind of the final frontier for crowdsourced feature pushes, or are there other more ridiculous things that players have been asking for that you've kind of kept in the back of your head?
Yeah, it's kind of it is hard. Even with the new update, we're like, how can we? I'm like, where's the sex? Where's the what's gonna sell it? And there has been like that was a big push, and we kind of leaned into it, and kind of that whole update was about being sins and being naughty, so we kind of made it all make sense. But yeah, there's not heaps of other ones at the moment. I think the big one was kind of adding in that like second character. We've seen like a lot of love for that. But we've also got some ideas of potentially if there was some little pets, or maybe there is some sort of ranching where you can get resources from other animals in other animal forms, which may or may not be in a new update we make, but we'll see. I cannot confirm nor deny.
No, I wouldn't push you for it. Absolutely not. How have you found the reception to the new co-op update, and how is it like kind of zooming back and thinking we've got to fit in another player? How does that kind of come about with development? I can't imagine that's an easy thing to just throw an extra player in.
Yeah, it was. I kind of thought it'd be a lot easier. I was like, oh yeah, chuck it in, it shouldn't be. But yeah, it just kind of like touched every single system in the game needed to be recoded. But it was kind of like, it kind of goes back to the way where we like to work, where we want people to kind of be working on what they want to work on. So this update kind of came about because one of our programmers, Anthony, I think he was just like tinkering away on it on a weekend and kind of got it working, and he kind of wanted to work on it. So we're like, all right, let's make an update. But yeah, in terms of reception, I think we were a bit concerned about it because it's obviously not as exciting as a sex update. But people have we've seen a lot of engagement from the community, a lot of love for that second character. It's really nice as well because when we first were coming up with the game, the goat was always a character there, and it's been in the animation project for the player. It's been a skin in there for the whole time through development. So we actually already had the art, so we could just turn it on basically. But yeah, so it's really nice to kind of get that in. And I think it also opens up the world a little bit. So we're kind of interested to kind of explore it more in future things we do as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I definitely know the presser came through, and you have that wonderful moment where something that the general populace doesn't. And I kind of trolled through, Reddit and whatnot, and it seemed like it popped up everywhere. Everyone saying, well, I hope it's a co-op update. Hopefully I can play with my partner, this, that, and the other. So at least from, an outsider looking in, it certainly seems like you made a lot of people happy with the update.
Yeah. And, we're very happy to do them. I think it will be, I don't know if we've officially said anything yet, but I think it's going to be the last of our free updates for now. Sure. Just because, we have given a lot of love, time to get the money from people. Some cash. But we're very I mean, even with this update, we've got very exciting paid DLC that we're including with it, because we've kind of done that with each update we do, but this one will be it's a bit different. So keep an eye out for that one as well. Should be announced, I don't know, maybe late this month, I think.
Amazing. Not too far away at all. So on more of a local scale, along with Massive Monster hitting it massive with Cult of the Lamb, we've seen other Australian teams do wonderful things, like Team Cherry's Hollow Knight moving out from SMG Studio. But we have also seen some fairly notable closures, like Samurai Punk and the indefinite pause on the development for League of Geeks, which was pretty devastating to hear. Being that you're part of the community, how do you feel that the Australian landscape, or the Australian video game development landscape, has changed in the past few years?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely interesting because I think we are quite different from a lot of the other areas in the world because there is a lot of government funding. So in terms of the government funding, that really, it hasn't really gone anywhere. And if anything, more of it has been announced. But what's happened is more those kind of studios that are trying to grow bigger. You kind of end up to a point where you start needing to rely on investors and
Yeah,
investment money. And the investment money was like going crazy like a while ago. And I think you know, a few of these studios maybe had some things lined up or had prospects because it was popping for a while, and then it all kind of just dried
sure.
up. So it kind of like killed a lot of studios as well. And it's just when you start playing with the big boy money, it kind of gets yeah, it does start getting quite market dependent.
Yeah,
So yeah, so I think the Australian scene's still pretty okay. I think from you might find from League of Geeks or from some of these other closures, I don't think those developers are going like elsewhere. They're not going to get a different job. I think they'll probably work on their own project and pitch it to big screen and Screen Australia to get funding. So if anything, there'll probably just be more games popping up.
yeah, I would certainly like
Hopefully
that
it
to
lives.
be.
Hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. The best case scenario for sure. To
I
round
mean,
things
that's
out.
what. Yeah.
Sorry, no,
Oh,
go
sorry.
for
I
it.
was gonna yeah, we're kind of interested in a bit of investment stuff as well. So we've actually kind of kept our eye on quite a few of those people that have left and what they're getting up to and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah, if there's any silver lining, it means there's, more creatives out there for other studios to snap up along the way. So yeah, absolutely, we hope that that's the case. To round things out with why we're obviously having a chat with you, you'll be the guest of honor this year's PAX Australia, taking on the keynote speaker
Yeah.
duties, which is exceptionally exciting. What can we expect from you at PAX this year? And should we show up expecting a large scale like cult driven sacrifice or something? Should I bring like a goat to sacrifice, or what's the plan?
Always. Yeah. That's a great question. I have yet to organize anything for it, but we've got some plans. We're gonna fly down our main artist from Spain. We're hoping to.
Awesome.
And we're thinking a bit of a draw my life kind of situation, but we kind of want to, keep it pretty fun and kind of have, just bring in random elements, keep it kind of fun throughout it. So
Yeah.
yeah, there might be some like guest appearances pop up as we're kind of doing it. But yeah, we've got a lot of we've got lots of things kind of planned for Games Week. So that'll be like one of the things, but there's lots of other exciting things as well. I don't know what's and when we'll be announcing things for that, but there may be a wedding. We're gonna throw a party, we're gonna throw a ticketed party. It's our 10th year anniversary for Massive Monster as well.
Oh,
I think we're doing some other stuff. I can't remember it. What is it? But yeah, the Cults Land party, we're throwing in an old church, so that should be kind of fun in Fitzroy.
fantastic.
Yeah, so
fitting spot.
we'll be we just, I don't know. Can't help myself. Every Games Week, I'm like, no, not doing that again. And then I just end up doing double the things. So like, yeah,
And you're drawn back in.
it should be pretty crazy. Yeah, that's it.
Look, it happens. But look, we'll have to be in attendance at PAX this year to figure out exactly what you'll be doing. Julian, thank you so much for having a chat with us today, and enjoy your cold afternoon.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Adam. Cheers.
Thanks, man.